My name is Marie. I'm 38 years old, a family law attorney who helps women escape toxic families. At midnight, my 11-year-old daughter's appendix ruptured. From the ER, I called my parents. Sophie needs surgery at 7 a.m. Please, just stay with Liam tonight. He's 6, autistic, nonverbal. He only needs someone there. My mother's voice sliced through the phone like a knife. We're not your servants for that broken, screaming burden you call a son. We've sacrificed enough raising your mess. Go beg your sister. At least her children are actually normal. Click. She hung up. I stared at the phone in silence. No tears. No pleading. In that moment, I made one quiet choice that would shatter their entire world. 4 weeks later, they were desperately hammering on my door at midnight. They had no idea what was about to hit them. It started just before midnight on a Tuesday in early March. Sophie had been complaining about stomach pain since dinner. Nothing unusual at first. She'd eaten too fast, maybe had too much milk. But by 11:30, I heard her screaming from her bedroom. The kind of scream that makes your blood stop. I ran upstairs, found her curled on the floor beside her bed, both hands pressed against her lower right side. Her face was white, sweat on her forehead despite the cool March air. Mom, it hurts so bad I can't breathe. I knelt beside her, checking. Lower right quadrant, rebound tenderness, fever when I touched her forehead. Hot, too hot. I grabbed the thermometer from the bathroom. 101.2 degrees Fahrenheit. Classic appendicitis. I'm not a doctor, but I've spent enough years around medical terminology in custody cases, enough emergency room visits with 2 kids, to recognize the signs. This wasn't something I could handle with Tylenol and waiting until morning. I called 911. While I waited, Liam appeared in Sophie's doorway. 6 years old, small for his age, holding his blue bear. He was stimming, flapping his hands the way he does when something's wrong, when the routine breaks, when he senses fear in the house. He's nonverbal. Can't tell me he's scared, but I saw it in his eyes. It's okay, buddy, I said, keeping my voice level. Sophie's going to be fine. The ambulance is coming to help her. He made a sound, not words, just a hum from deep in his throat, his version of asking what's happening. The ambulance arrived at 12:18 a.m., 2 paramedics, professional and quick. One of them examined Sophie while the other took her vitals. Possible appendicitis, the first one said. We need to transport immediately. As they loaded Sophie onto the stretcher, the second paramedic looked at Liam, then at me. Who's staying with him? I'll figure it out, I said. In the ambulance, Sophie grabbed my hand. Through the pain and the fear, she asked, Is Liam going to be okay alone? I lied. Grandma and Grandpa will come. She looked at me with those 11-year-old eyes that had already seen too much of her grandparents' pattern. Will they? I didn't answer. We arrived at the ER at 12:35 a.m. They rushed Sophie through triage immediately. The benefit of arriving by ambulance with suspected appendicitis. Blood work was ordered within minutes. I sat in the waiting area, phone in hand, trying to think. Liam was home with Mrs. Chen, our elderly neighbor. She'd agreed to watch him when the ambulance came, threw on a robe and came right over, bless her. But she was 73 years old. She couldn't stay overnight. She'd told me clearly, I can watch until you figure something out, dear, but I need my sleep. I had maybe an hour before I'd need a real solution. The ER doctor came out at 1:14 a.m. young, competent, direct. Your daughter's white blood cell count is 18,200. Normal is under 11,000. We've done a CT scan. Her appendix is inflamed and beginning to rupture. We need to get her into surgery within the next 6 to 8 hours, or we're looking at perforation, peritonitis, sepsis. Much more dangerous. When? I asked. First surgical slot is 7 a.m. That's our target. We need your consent. I signed the forms. My hand shook, not from fear of the surgery, from what came next. Logistics. Sophie would be admitted overnight for surgery prep. I needed to stay with her. Liam needed someone at home. Mrs. Chen would be asleep by now. My ex-husband Tyler was in Denver for a conference. I'd already texted him. His response: "I'm so sorry. Conference runs till Thursday. I can't get a flight out tonight. Is there someone who can help?" I'd typed back, "I'll figure it out." The nurse came to take Sophie to a room for pre-op monitoring. Sophie was sedated but still conscious. "Mom, who's with Liam?" "Mrs. Chen is there right now." "But overnight?" I looked at my phone. 3 options sat in my mind like weights on a scale. Helen Crawford, my senior partner at the firm. But her husband Tom had just had knee surgery 2 days ago. She was his primary caregiver. I couldn't ask. Professional overnight care. I'd used Guardian Angels home care once before when I had a court case that ran past midnight. They had autism-specialized caregivers, but the rate was $285 for a 12-hour shift. Not impossible, but it stung. Or my parents. Douglas and Patricia Monroe, 64 and 62 years old, retired, living in an apartment 15 minutes away. Free. Family. I stared at their contact in my phone. My thumb hovered. I thought, they'll say no. They've said no 12 times before when I needed help with Liam. 12 documented instances over the past 4 years. 12 different excuses. "We're too old to catch anything," when Liam had the flu. That's a 40-minute drive round trip. When I needed them to pick him up from therapy. Ask Victoria when I had food poisoning and needed someone to watch both kids for 3 hours. But this was different. This was Sophie. This was surgery. This was a medical emergency. They had to say yes this time. I pressed call. It rang. Once, twice, 3 times. My father's voice, groggy and annoyed. "Marie? It's almost 1 in the morning. What's wrong?" "Dad, I'm at the hospital. Sophie's appendix is rupturing. She needs emergency surgery at 7 a.m. I need someone to stay overnight with Liam. Just tonight. He's already asleep. He went to bed at 8. He'll probably sleep straight through until morning. I just need an adult in the house for 7 hours. I heard my mother's voice in the background. "Who is it?" "Marie. Something about the kids." "At this hour?" My father came back on. "Hold on, your mother wants to know what's going on." I heard shuffling. Then the phone went to speaker. My mother's voice, sharp. "You need what?" I kept my voice level. Professional, like I was presenting a case in court. "I need you to stay with Liam tonight. Sophie's having emergency surgery. Her appendix is rupturing. The surgery is at 7 a.m. I need to be here with her. Liam is asleep at home. He just needs someone in the house. You can sleep in my guest room. He has his routine. He knows bedtime. I just need him to not be alone." Silence. Long silence. I heard a television in the background, a late-night infomercial, someone selling kitchen knives. Then my mother's voice, cold as winter steel. "We need to talk about this." "There's nothing to talk about," I said. "It's yes or no. Can you stay with Liam tonight or not?" Another pause. "Marie, we're not your servants for that broken, screaming burden you call a son." The words hit like a fist. I stopped breathing. My mother continued. "We've sacrificed enough raising your mess. You want help? Go beg your sister. At least her children are actually normal." I heard my father in the background. "Patricia." But she wasn't done. "We can't handle that tonight. We won't handle that. Call someone who's equipped to deal with him." My hand gripped the edge of the plastic chair. Around me, the ER continued. Other families, crying babies, normal chaos, life moving forward, and my mother's voice, cutting through it all like glass. "His name is Liam," I said quietly. "He's your grandson. He's 6 years old. He's a screaming, broken child who makes our lives hell every time we're near him. We're not doing this tonight. Sophie is in surgery in 6 hours. Then call someone equipped to deal with him. We're not. Click. They hung up. I stared at my phone. Call ended. Duration, 6 minutes, 14 seconds, 12:58 a.m. I sat there for 30 seconds. Then I dialed Helen Crawford. She answered on the second ring. Alert. Awake. She told me when Sophie got sick to call any time, day or night. Marie? How's Sophie? Surgery at 7. She's stable. Helen, I need to ask you something. Anything. Can you watch Liam overnight? I know Tom just had surgery, but I'm out of options and… Marie, stop. I can't. Tom can't be alone overnight right now. But listen to me. Call Guardian Angels Home Care. We use them for Tom's mother. They have overnight autism specialists. The number is… She gave me the number. Helen, that's $300. Bill the firm if you need to. I'll approve it. Marie, what happened? Why can't your parents help? I told her, word for word. When I finished, there was silence. Then, Jesus Christ, Marie. I need to go. I need to call the agency. Wait. Marie, what your parents just said to you, document it. You're a lawyer. You know what to do. I already did. I recorded the call. Texas is one-party consent. Helen's voice changed. Pride, I think. Good girl. I called Guardian Angels at 1:15 a.m. The dispatcher was kind, efficient, professional. Overnight autism care, 12-hour shift. We have Jessica available. She can be at your address by 2:30 a.m. She has 6 years of experience with nonverbal children. Rate is $285. I'll take it. And you'll be where? Hospital. My daughter's having emergency surgery. I'm so sorry. Jessica will take excellent care of your son. Can you text her your address and his routine? I did. Typed it out. Address. Routine. Liam's comfort items. Weighted blanket. Blue bear. Bluey episodes cued on the iPad if he wakes up. Professional. Detailed. Thorough. The kind of information you give to someone who actually cares. At 1:47 a.m., Jessica texted, On my way. I'll be there by 2:30. Take care of your daughter. Liam will be safe. I went back to Sophie's bedside. She was sedated but stirred when I sat down. Mom? I'm here, baby. Is someone with Liam? Yes, someone who actually wants to help. Not Grandma and Grandpa? No, baby, not them. She closed her eyes. Okay. Just that. Okay. At 11 years old, she'd already learned not to expect them. At 2 a.m., Sophie was fully asleep. I sat in the chair beside her hospital bed and opened my banking app. Stared at the screen. Auto pay scheduled for March 15th. 12 days away. 3 recurring payments. Rent for my parents' apartment. $1,800. Health insurance premium for my mother. $650. Utilities and groceries. $150. Total. $2,600 per month. Every month. For 9 years. I'd set up the auto pay in March of 2017, the month my mother was diagnosed with fibromyalgia, the month my father decided to retire early to care for your mother and reduce stress. They'd downsized to a smaller apartment, needed help. My sister Victoria, married to a cardiac surgeon making over $400,000 a year, had offered to pay 1 year of rent up front, $21,600. I'd offered to handle the monthly bills. You're better with budgets than me, Victoria had said. I'll cover the big one-time emergencies. Victoria's big one-time emergencies. 1. A $5,000 HVAC system in 2018. My monthly payments, 108 consecutive months. Total contributed by me, $280,800. Total contributed by Victoria, $9,500. I thought, 9 years. $2,600 every single month. I never missed one payment. Not when Tyler left. Not when Liam's therapy costs doubled. Not when I had to choose between fixing my car and buying Sophie new school shoes. I chose the shoes. I paid them anyway. And tonight, when I needed them for 6 hours, they called my son broken. My finger hovered over the cancel recurring payment button. I thought, what are the consequences? They'll be evicted. They'll lose insurance. They'll panic. They'll come to me. Good. Let them come. I pressed cancel. Once, twice, 3 times. Rent, insurance, utilities, 2:04 a.m. March 3rd, 2026. Screenshot each confirmation. Saved to folder on my phone. Financial, parents, terminated. No warning, no explanation. Just stopped. I felt nothing. No guilt, no anger, no satisfaction. Just cold, clear certainty. I'd been a lawyer for 12 years. I knew what this was. Breach of contract. They'd promised to be grandparents, to be family, to show up when it mattered. They'd breached. Consideration had not been met. Contract terminated. At 5:30 a.m., the pre-op nurse came. We're ready for Sophie. I kissed my daughter's forehead. She was heavily sedated now, barely conscious. Mom, she whispered. I'm here. Is Liam okay? Liam is perfect. Someone kind is taking care of him. Not Grandma and Grandpa? No, baby. Better than them. They wheeled her away at 7:03 a.m. I sat in the surgical waiting room. 6 other families were there. One family had 15 people. Grandparents, aunts, uncles, cousins, all there for a kid's tonsillectomy. I had coffee from the machine, $2.50. Tasted like burnt plastic. I drank it anyway. Thought, I chose this solitude. It's better than their conditional presence. At 8:28 a.m., Dr. Reynolds came out. We got it in time. Her appendix was actively rupturing. Another 8 to 10 hours, and we'd be dealing with perforation, peritonitis. You called it exactly right, bringing her in when you did. My hands shook. Adrenaline finally dumping. She's okay? She's perfect. Recovery 3 to 5 days, home by Friday. Does she have support at home? He asked. She has me, and her brother. That's all the family she needs. He smiled, kind eyes. That's more than enough. You did good, Mom. At 8:45 a.m., my phone buzzed. Text from Victoria. Mom just called me hysterical. She said Sophie's in surgery and you wouldn't let them help? What's going on? I stared at the message. Read it again. My parents must have called Victoria around 6 a.m., right after they realized I wasn't going to call them back. Recruited her to pressure me. Victoria's version of events. Marie shut them out. The truth. They refused to help. Narrative warfare had begun. Victoria sent 3 more texts. Marie, please call me. Mom is beside herself. She said you needed help and she couldn't give it, but now she wants to make it right. I'm coming to the hospital. Then, which hospital are you at? I turned my phone face down. Didn't reply. Helen texted. Victoria called the office looking for you. I told her you're unavailable. Want me to keep screening? I replied. Yes. Thank you. At 10:30 a.m., I was in Sophie's recovery room. She woke from anesthesia slowly, groggy, confused, in pain but managed. Mom? I'm here, baby. Did Grandma come? My heart broke clean in half. No, sweetheart, but I'm here. I'll always be here. She processed that. Okay. Just okay. Acceptance. At 11 years old, she already knew. While Sophie slept, I opened my laptop. Helen's assistant had brought it from the office, bless her. I created a document. Subject: Record of events. March 3, 2026. Monroe family medical emergency. I typed everything. Timeline. Exact quotes from the phone call. Witness. Helen Crawford, Esquire. Recording notation. Legally obtained one-party consent under Texas law. Financial termination timestamps. Victoria's intervention attempts. I attach the audio file. 6 minutes, 14 seconds. I attach the bank cancellation screenshots. 3 images. Time stamped. I sent copies to 3 email addresses. Mine, Helen's, and my personal attorney archive. Subject line. Documentation. Family medical emergency and financial support termination. I wrote, March 3rd, 2026, 12:52 a.m. Contacted parents. Douglas and Patricia Monroe requesting emergency childcare during daughter's appendicitis surgery. Request. Overnight supervision of 6-year-old son, autistic, nonverbal, from 2 a.m. to 9 a.m. Response. Direct quote, recorded, legally obtained. We're not your servants for that broken, screaming burden you call a son. We've sacrificed enough raising your mess. Go beg your sister. At least her children are actually normal. Call terminated by them. 12:58 a.m. Action taken. Discontinued all financial support effective immediately. Total support rendered March 2017 to March 2026. $280,800. Alternative care arranged. Professional autism caregiver. Cost $285. Medical outcome. Daughter's surgery successful. Son cared for appropriately by paid professional. Note. Parents contacted daughter Victoria at approximately 6 a.m. March 3rd to initiate narrative warfare, claiming I shut them out. Recording and witness contradict their version. I saved it. Filed it. Done. Helen replied within an hour. Received and filed. This is airtight. Are you okay? I typed. I'm lighter than I've been in 9 years. Send. I need to tell you how we got here. How a family law attorney who spent 12 years helping other women escape toxic families couldn't escape her own. It started 9 years ago. March 2017. My mother was diagnosed with fibromyalgia. Real condition, real pain, but manageable with proper medication and lifestyle changes. My father, who'd been an accountant for 38 years, decided this was the perfect time to retire early. I need to reduce stress and care for your mother, he said. They were 64 and 62. Too young for Medicare, too old to go back to work easily. They downsized from their house to a 2-bedroom apartment. Cheaper, manageable, but they needed help. Victoria was 34 at the time, married 3 years to Andrew Bennett, a cardiac surgeon. 2 kids, Chloe, age 5, and Owen, age 3. Picture-perfect family. Andrew's salary, north of $400,000 a year. Victoria offered to pay 1 year of rent. Generous, visible, something she could post about on Facebook. So grateful we can help Mom and Dad during this transition. I was 29. Junior associate at a family law firm, making $68,000 a year. Divorced 1 year, sole custody of Sophie, who was 2. I offered to handle the monthly bills. That makes sense, Victoria said. You're so good at budgeting. I'd just forget to make the payments on time. Translation. I'll do the glamorous one-time gesture. You do the invisible labor. I set up autopay that night. March 15th, 2017. First payment posted. $2,600. I checked my bank balance after. $1,240 remaining. Tight, but doable. Temporary. Mom will get better, I told myself. Dad will find part-time work. Maybe 6 months. 9 years later, nothing had changed. The favoritism wasn't subtle. I didn't need a spreadsheet at first. I just noticed. Victoria's kids had soccer games every Saturday. My parents attended every single home game, 12 games per season, spring and fall. They wore team colors, brought signs, posted photos. Go Owen! Go Chloe! Sophie had a piano recital when she was 6 years old. She'd practiced for 3 months, learned a Beethoven piece. She was so proud. We'd love to come, my mother said, but we have a prior commitment. The prior commitment. Owen's baseball practice. Not a game. Practice. When Liam was diagnosed with autism at 18 months old, my parents' reaction was careful, measured, quiet. Are you sure? My father asked. He seems fine to us. He wasn't fine. He was nonverbal. No eye contact. Stimming. No response to his name. 3 specialists confirmed. Autism spectrum disorder, level 2. My mother's response. Well, that's going to be challenging. No, we'll help you through this. No, what do you need? Just challenging. Meanwhile, when Chloe tested into the gifted program in 4th grade, my parents sent a card. Hallmark, expensive with a $200 check inside. Handwritten message, for our brilliant granddaughter, so proud. When Liam spoke his first word at age 4, Mama, after 2 years of intensive speech therapy, I texted my parents a video. Their response, that's great. Thumbs up emoji. No card, no call, no. We're proud of Liam. In 2024, during my custody evaluation with Tyler, my court-appointed therapist gave me homework. Track family support patterns, she said. Write down who helps when, with what, and how often. I made a spreadsheet. Events attended, Victoria's children. 83 events attended, Marie's children. 9 overnight care provided, Victoria's children. 34 instances overnight care provided, Marie's children. 0. The therapist saw it and went quiet. Then she asked, Marie, this is data. This is evidence. Of what, exactly? I typed an answer she couldn't see. Conditional love. My children don't meet the conditions. The money told its own story. March 2017 to March 2026. 9 years exactly. $2,600 per month. 108 consecutive months. Total from me, $280,800. Victoria's contributions over the same period, $5,000 for HVAC repair in 2018. Approximately $500 per year in Christmas and anniversary gifts. Total from Victoria, roughly $9,500. But here's what Victoria paid for that made the Facebook posts. Anniversary cruise for our parents, $2,800. New flat-screen TV, $1,400. Weekend trip to Sedona, $3,200. The big visible one-time gestures. I paid for rent, insurance, food, utilities, the invisible, endless, necessary things. Last month, my mother mentioned casually over the phone, Victoria surprised us with a spa weekend at the Ritz. So thoughtful. I'd paid their electric bill that same day, $215. Victoria got credit for luxury. I got nothing. Not even thank you. At Thanksgiving 2023, we had 14 people at my parents' apartment. Patricia made a toast. I'm so grateful for our family, especially our brilliant grandchildren. Chloe got straight A's again this semester, and Owen made select soccer team. We're so blessed. Liam was in the corner with his iPad, stimming, humming softly to himself. I said, Liam had a breakthrough in therapy this week. He signed more independently. My mother looked at me. Oh, that's progress, I suppose. Then turned immediately back to Victoria. Now tell me about Chloe's gifted program application. I watched Liam in the corner, 6 years old, doing his best, and his own grandmother couldn't even pretend to be proud. In April 2025, Victoria and I had lunch. Sisters, coffee shop in the nice part of town where Victoria lives. She ordered a $52 lobster salad. I ordered $14 soup. I was calculating in my head, if I save $38 per lunch like this, 40 lunches a year, that's $1,520. More than half a month's rent for Mom and Dad. Victoria didn't notice I'd chosen the cheapest item on the menu. Halfway through lunch, I tested the waters. Do you ever think about how much I contribute to Mom and Dad? Victoria looked uncomfortable. I mean, if it's too much, you could say something. I have said something. To you. Right now. Well, have you said something to them? Would it matter? She didn't answer. After lunch, she texted, "Love you, sis. Thanks for listening." Not thanks for carrying our parents financially for 9 years. Not, I'll help more. Just thanks for listening. To her complain about which vacation rental to book. I didn't reply. And through it all, every month, the $2,600 posted. I never missed a payment. Not when Tyler left. Not when Liam's therapy costs doubled to $1,200 per month. Not when my car needed a new transmission and I had to choose between fixing it or buying Sophie winter boots. I chose the boots. Took the bus for 3 months. Paid my parents anyway. Because they were family. Because I thought eventually, when I needed them, they'd be there. I was wrong. I brought Sophie home from the hospital on March 6th, 3 days post-op, healing well, sore but stable. Liam had thrived during those 3 days. Jessica, the overnight caregiver, had extended her shifts. I paid gladly. Every hour with her was worth it. She'd texted me updates every few hours. Liam ate full breakfast. We're watching Bluey. He helped me fold laundry. So sweet. Bedtime routine perfect. He's asleep with his blue bear. Simple, professional, kind. Everything my parents weren't. Sophie asked on the drive home, "Where are Grandma and Grandpa?" "They're busy, sweetie." They visited Owen when he had his tonsils out. They stayed 4 days. My hands tightened on the steering wheel. I know. It's okay, Mom. I kind of knew they wouldn't come. 11 years old, already internalized. On March 15th, the rent payment didn't post. My mother texted at 9 a.m. "Marie, the autopay didn't go through. Did you forget?" I read the notification. Didn't open the message. March 17th, 2 p.m. "This isn't funny. Please call me." March 18th. The landlord assessed a late fee, $150. My mother, "We just got a late fee notice. $150. What's going on?" March 19th, 6 p.m. "Marie, we need to talk. This is serious." My phone showed 11 unread texts, 7 missed calls, 2 voicemails I didn't listen to. I'd set their contact to silent. They could call. I wouldn't hear. March 20th. The insurance premium didn't post. The company sent an email to my mother. "Premium overdue. 30-day grace period begins. Coverage will lapse. April 20th without payment. Reinstatement may require medical underwriting." My mother's fibromyalgia medications cost $830 per month without insurance. She panicked. March 23rd, 8 days after the missed rent payment. The landlord posted a 7-day pay or quit notice on my parents' door. Legal requirement in Texas. Pay $1,950 by March 30th or face eviction proceedings. My mother called my office. Helen answered. "I need to speak with Marie. This is her mother." Helen's voice, professional ice. "Ms. Monroe is with clients today. May I take a message?" "Tell her we got an eviction notice. Tell her she's destroying our lives." "I'll pass along the message. Have a good day, Mrs. Monroe." Helen hung up, walked to my office. "Your mother called. Should I keep screening?" "Please." Helen nodded. Didn't ask questions. Just protected. That's partnership. That day, I worked on a case. Woman, 32 years old. Parents demanding $1,800 per month. Threatening disownment when she refused. Every beat of her story was familiar. Parents weaponizing guilt, comparing her to her sibling, threatening consequences. I won her case. She cried with relief. I thought, I'm living what I preach now. Finally, March 26th. Victoria called. I answered. I knew this was inevitable. What the hell is happening? Mom and Dad are facing eviction. They said you cut them off. I did. Why? Ask them what they said about Liam. Long pause. What did they say? They called him a broken, screaming burden. They said they sacrificed enough raising my mess. They told me to beg you because your kids are actually normal. Silence. 8 seconds. Marie, I have it recorded. Legal one-party consent. Want to hear it? Her voice shook. No, Jesus, Marie, that's horrible. That's who they are, and I'm done funding it. But you can't just cut off their rent. They have no income. I've been their income for 9 years, $280,800. They wouldn't give me 7 hours. Victoria went quiet. I heard her breathing, calculating. $280,000? 800. Yes. I didn't know it was. I thought maybe you paid like $500 a month or something. You didn't know because you didn't ask. Because I handled it. Because it was easier for you not to know. Silence. Can you just pay April while we figure this out? No. Marie, please. You want to help them? You pay. You have Andrew's surgeon salary. I have 2 kids and autism therapy bills. Your turn. Another pause. I'll talk to Andrew. You do that. I hung up. March 29th. Victoria called again. Andrew and I will cover April, just April, to give them time to adjust. Tell them yourself. She did. My parents' response, forwarded to me by Victoria. 1 month doesn't solve this. Marie needs to fix this. She created this mess. She needs to restore the payments and apologize for abandoning us when we needed her most. This is elder abuse. I read elder abuse and laughed, out loud. Sophie, recovered now and home from school, looked up from her homework. What's funny? Grandma thinks I'm abusing her by not giving her money. Sophie, 11 years old, perfectly deadpan. That's not abuse. That's consequences. I hugged my daughter. You're absolutely right. March 30th, 11:43 p.m. I was putting the kids to bed. Sophie asleep. Liam in his weighted blanket, humming softly. Happy sound. The doorbell rang, then knocking. Hard, persistent. Bang, 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 bang. I checked the Ring camera. Douglas and Patricia. Desperate, angry, scared. I took a deep breath. Walked to the door. 11:47 p.m. Close enough to midnight to be symbolic. I opened the door partway. Chain still on. My parents stood on the porch. Douglas wore a jacket I'd bought him 4 Christmases ago. Patricia carried a purse I'd given her for her birthday 2 years back. Both looked smaller than I remembered. Douglas held papers. Eviction notice. Late fee statements. Insurance lapse warning. Patricia's eyes were red. She'd been crying. Marie, we need to talk, now. My voice came out calm. It's almost midnight. My children are asleep. We've been trying to reach you for 4 weeks. I know, I got your messages. Then why? I chose not to respond. Patricia's face twisted. Are you going to let us in? No. Shock on both their faces. What? We can talk here. You have 5 minutes. Douglas started. You need to restore the payments. We're being evicted. We'll lose our insurance. This is our life, Marie. It was my money. It's not anymore. Patricia's voice rose. You can't just abandon your parents. You abandoned Sophie during surgery. You abandoned Liam every day of his life. I'm treating you exactly how you treated my children. This is about that night? We said we couldn't help. You said my son was a broken, screaming burden. You said you sacrificed enough raising my mess. You told me to beg Victoria because her children are actually normal. Both of them froze. Patricia recovered first. We were tired. We didn't mean, you meant it. And I recorded it. Texas is one-party consent. Patricia's face drained of color. You recorded us? I'm an attorney. I document everything. Would you like to hear it? I held up my phone, finger over the play button. They both stepped back. No, Patricia whispered. Douglas tried a different approach. We raised you. We gave you everything. And I gave you $280,800 over 9 years. We're even. Actually, I overpaid. Severance package was generous. I stepped onto the porch, pulled the door closed behind me, protecting the kids from noise. I held up my iPad, opened the spreadsheet. March 2017 to March 2026. 9 years exactly. $2,600 per month. 108 months. Total, $280,800. Do you dispute these numbers? Douglas stammered. We never asked you to track. You asked me to pay. March 18th, 2017. Mom called and said, we need help with rent. Can you do monthly? I said yes. You accepted. For 108 consecutive months. Patricia, that was different. You volunteered. And you accepted. For nearly $300,000, then refused 7 hours of childcare. I swiped to another tab. Events attended. Victoria's children, 83. Marie's children, 9. Patricia saw the numbers. Her mouth opened. No words came. I swiped again. Emergency requests. Marie's children, 12 instances, 12 refusals. All documented. Too far, too tired, too busy, too much. All there. Where did you get? I made it. I'm a lawyer. This is what I do. Douglas changed tactics. We're family. You can't cut us off like strangers. You treated my son like a stranger. Worse than a stranger. Strangers wouldn't call a 6-year-old child a burden to his mother's face during a medical emergency. Patricia, desperate now. What do you want from us? An apology? Fine, I'm sorry. We're sorry. I don't want your apology. I wanted you 4 weeks ago. I don't want you now. This is extortion. My voice went cold. Lawyer voice. Extortion requires a threat. I've made no threats. I'm exercising my right to discontinue voluntary financial support. You're welcome to consult an attorney. I am one. I've consulted myself. You have no legal standing. My arms crossed. Weight balanced. Spine straight. Courtroom stance. I wasn't their daughter right now. I was opposing counsel. Patricia started crying. We'll be homeless. You should have thought of that before you called my son broken. The front door cracked open. Liam appeared, 6 years old, holding his blue bear, pajamas, sleepy. He saw his grandparents, made a sound, not words, just vocalization. His version of who's there? He started stimming, flapping his hands, overwhelmed by night noise, disruption, people. I crouched down. It's okay, buddy. Go back to bed. I'll be right there. Liam reached toward my parents. No understanding of their rejection, just familiar faces. Patricia stepped back. Marie, we should go. Patricia, I can't. Look at him, I can't. I stood, picked up Liam, 42 pounds, light for 6 years old. I lifted him easily, his small hand on my shoulder, his breathing against my neck. He hummed, self-soothing. I thought, this child, this perfect, beautiful, autistic child, They called him broken. He's not broken. They are. Douglas's voice cracked. We're not bad people, Marie. I never said you were bad. I said you weren't equipped. Your words. I'm just agreeing with you. I turned, carried Liam inside. Douglas. Wait. The door shut. Lock clicked. The next morning, March 31st, 7:18 a.m., Victoria called. They showed up at our house at 1 a.m. Mom was hysterical. Dad was broken. What did you do? I told them the truth. They said you recorded them. You have evidence. Marie, this is what, Victoria? Fair? Justified? Overdue? They're saying you're trying to destroy the family. The family was destroyed when they called Liam a broken, screaming burden. Victoria was crying now. I know. Andrew listened to the recording. What? Mom sent it to me trying to prove you edited it or something. Andrew heard it. He was furious. He said those exact words would constitute emotional abuse in any custody evaluation. What are you going to do? Victoria asked. I'm going to make sure everyone knows the truth, not my version, the documented truth. Marie, please don't. It's already done. Check your email. I hung up. 7:45 a.m. I sent the email. To Extended Family Group, 23 people. Aunts, uncles, cousins, parents. Victoria, Andrew. Subject, clarification, Recent family situation, documentation attached. Body. Dear family, you may have heard that I've discontinued financial support to my parents, Douglas and Patricia Monroe. I want to clarify the circumstances with documented evidence. Financial support provided. Duration, March 2017 to March 2026, 9 years. Amount, $2,600 per month, $1,800 rent plus $650 insurance, plus $150 utilities. Total, $280,800. Attached, bank statements, emergency request and response. Date, March 3rd, 2026, 12:52 a.m. Situation. Daughter Sophie, age 11, required emergency appendectomy. Surgery scheduled 7 a.m. Request, overnight supervision of son Liam, age 6, autistic nonverbal, from 2 a.m. to 9 a.m., 7 hours. Response, direct quote, audio attached. We're not your servants for that broken, screaming burden you call a son. We've sacrificed enough raising your mess. Go beg your sister. At least her children are actually normal. Call terminated by them. 12:58 a.m. audio recording. Legally obtained. One-party consent. Texas law. Action taken. Discontinued all financial support. Effective March 3rd, 2026. Alternative care arranged. Professional caregiver. $285. Daughter's surgery. Successful son's care. Appropriate and compassionate additional context. Emergency child care requests denied. Marie's children. 12 instances over 4 years. Family events attended. Victoria's children. 83/Marie's children. 9. Victoria's financial contribution to parents. Approximately $9,500 over 9 years. I share this not for sympathy, but for accuracy. When you hear their version, you have mine, with evidence. If you have questions, I'm available. If you wish to help them financially, that's your choice. Respectfully, Marie Monroe, J.D. 4 attachments. Total file size, 8.2 megabytes. Send time, 7:45 and 3 seconds a.m. Read receipt started immediately. 7:52 a.m. First reply. Uncle Jim, my father's brother. I had no idea you'd been supporting them. Doug told me he was managing fine on pension. This doesn't add up. The family group chat exploded. 127 messages in 90 minutes. Cousin Rachel, a social worker. Wait, $280,000 over 9 years? And they couldn't give one night? Aunt Linda, my father's sister. Patricia told me last month they were doing okay financially. She didn't mention Marie paying their rent. Cousin Melissa. I watched Owen for a week last summer. They never said they couldn't handle a special needs kid for one night. Aunt Linda. They watched Chloe and Owen for Victoria's anniversary. That was 4 days. Uncle Jim. Doug, explain this. You told me you had pension. Cousin Rachel. I'm a social worker. I've read the recording transcript. That language about a disabled child is... I have no words. Cousin David. Anyone else notice they can watch neurotypical kids for days but not Liam for hours? Victoria tried to intervene. Can we please take this offline? Rachel. No, this is exactly where it belongs. Sunlight is the best disinfectant. Other cousins agreed. Transparency demanded. 9:03 a.m. Patricia joined the group chat. Victoria must have added her, gave her a chance to defend herself. Patricia typed, Marie is twisting things. We offered to help in other ways. She's being vindictive, and this is elder abuse. Rachel. What other ways? Specifically? Patricia started typing. Stopped. Started again. Stopped. Left the group chat. 3 p.m. that day. Victoria showed up at my office. Helen intercepted her in the lobby. Marie's with a client. I'll wait. She doesn't want to see you. I'm her sister. Helen's voice stayed level. You're also someone who enabled this for 9 years. Marie's boundaries are clear. Victoria broke down crying. Helen softened slightly. Victoria. I've known Marie 8 years. She's never asked for help. She's carried this alone. Did you ever ask how much she was paying? No. I thought it was manageable for her. You thought. You didn't verify. That's complicity. I want to make this right. Pay their rent yourself. You can afford it. Marie can't anymore. And shouldn't. Victoria left. 2 hours later, she texted me. Andrew and I will cover April and May to give them time to figure out their finances. But that's it. We can't sustain this long term. I replied, this was never about money. This is about who they chose to be when my children needed them. Victoria. I know. I'm sorry I didn't see it sooner. What do you want from me? She asked. Distance. Same as them. I need space from the whole system that allowed this. Even from me? Especially from you. You benefited most. That same day, Victoria's children learned the truth. Chloe, 14, and Owen, 12, overheard their parents arguing. Chloe Googled, found screenshots from the family group chat. Cousin Rachel had posted them publicly on Facebook, making a point about elder abuse myths. The kids read everything. Chloe texted me, first time in a year. Aunt Marie, I'm so sorry. I didn't know Grandma and Grandpa were mean to Liam and Sophie. Then, I heard Mom and Dad fighting. Dad said Grandma and Grandpa chose favorites and it's not okay. Is that true? I was careful. Your mom and I are working through some grown-up stuff. It's not your responsibility. But they said that about Liam? That he's broken? Yes, they did. That's so messed up. Liam's not broken. He's just different. I cried reading that. Thank you for saying that. Owen sent a separate text. Can I see Sophie? Mom said she had surgery. Is she okay? Simple. Sweet. I realized Victoria's kids aren't villains. They're kids. They didn't know. Maybe relationship possible someday. With them. Not Victoria. April 2nd. My father sent me a cease and desist letter via a paralegal friend. Not a real attorney. Demands restore payments, public retraction of defamatory email, written apology. I showed Helen. She laughed. Actually laughed. Want me to respond? Please. Helen drafted it on firm letterhead. Dear Mr. Monroe, Your correspondence dated April 2nd, 2026 has been reviewed. We respond as follows. 1. Financial support. All support was voluntary. No written or oral contract obligated Ms. Monroe to continue payments indefinitely. Discontinuation is her legal right. 2. Defamation. Claim. Ms. Monroe's email contained factual statements supported by bank records, audio recording, legally obtained, one-party consent per Texas law, and witness testimony. Truth is an absolute defense to defamation. Your claim has no merit. 3. Public apology. Request noted and declined. 4. Future contact. Further communication regarding this matter should be directed to this office. Direct contact with Ms. Monroe may constitute harassment. Very truly yours, Helen Crawford, Esquires. Sent certified mail. My father received it April 4th. Called Helen's office. Receptionist. Ms. Crawford is unavailable. Teller. All communication must be in writing, Mr. Monroe. Have a good day. Click. April 5th, 11 p.m. My mother left a voicemail on my phone. The only thing that could bypass Helen's screening. Her voice, bitter and broken. You've turned the whole family against us. Victoria won't even let us see our grandchildren anymore. You've destroyed everything. I hope you're happy. You've won. I saved the voicemail, labeled it Evidence Exhibit F. 6 weeks later, mid-April. Sophie was completely healed, scar barely visible. Back to school, piano lessons, normal life. Liam had started an upgraded speech therapy program. I'd been postponing it for months. Too expensive. But now, with an extra $2,600 per month, I enrolled him immediately. 3 sessions per week instead of 1. Intensive, specialized. He thrived. My new budget, $800. Liam's speech therapy, $600. Sophie's summer arts camp, $500. Emergency fund, $400. My own therapy, $300. Kids' college fund, every dollar going where it should have gone all along, to my children. In my therapy session on April 18th, my therapist asked, "How do you feel about the outcome?" I thought I'd feel guilty. I don't. I feel light. They lost financial support. What did you lose? I thought about it. The hope that they'd change. But I'd lost that years ago. I just finally admitted it. My parents moved to a studio apartment, $950 a month. Victoria covered April and May, then stopped. They need to figure this out themselves, she told me. My father found part-time work at a tax preparation service. My mother cut back on unnecessary expenses. They adjusted. They survived. Without me. The extended family split. Older generation, my parents' siblings, 60s and 70s, mostly sided with them. Family is family. You don't abandon. Younger generation, cousins, 30s and 40s, mostly sided with me. Boundaries matter. Actions have consequences. Victoria landed somewhere in the middle. Paid 1 emergency medical bill for my mother, $1,200, but declined ongoing support. Andrew was surprisingly firm. They made adult choices. Adults face adult consequences. Memorial Day weekend came. Traditionally huge family barbecue. This year, split. My parents had a gathering, 8 people, mostly their generation. I declined the invitation. Instead, beach day with Sophie, Liam, and Jessica. Jessica had become our regular sitter, 3 times a week, building real relationship. We took a photo at the beach, Liam playing in the sand, Sophie laughing, both kids happy. I kept that photo. Labeled it, Family, Real Version. In May, I took on a new case. Woman, 32. Parents demanding $1,800 a month. Threatening disownment. Helen assigned it to me. You'll understand this one? I did. Every beat was familiar. During our consultation, I told her, "You're not responsible for their financial security. You're responsible for your own peace. But they're my parents. Don't I owe them? They owed you a childhood free from adult financial burden. That debt flows down, not up. You don't owe them your future." She cried. "Did you cut off your family?" "Yes." "Do you regret it?" "I regret that it was necessary." That's different from regretting the choice. After she left, I wrote in my case notes, "Personal experience relevant. Bias acknowledged. Consulted Helen before proceeding. Approved. Will maintain professional boundaries while using knowledge to serve client. Integrity. Even in pain." May 15th, 2026. Liam's speech therapy session. His therapist called me. I was in court. Stepped out immediately. Drove straight there. Liam was in the therapy room. Saw me and said, "Want mama?" 2 words. First 2-word phrase. Age 6 years, 2 months. Nonverbal until now. I knelt down. "Say it again, buddy. Please." He looked directly at me. Rare eye contact. "Want mama." Then spontaneously, "Mama here." 3 words. I cried. His therapist cried. "He's been working toward this for weeks," she said. Today something clicked. I held him. Thought. If I was still paying my parents $2,600 a month, I couldn't afford this program. Liam might not have had this breakthrough. My choice to cut them off equals my son finding his voice. Direct causation. The math is simple. The choice was right. That night, I almost texted my parents. Liam spoke today. Typed it out. Full message ready. Cursor blinking. Then I thought, they don't deserve to witness his milestones. They called him broken. He's not broken. He's emerging, and they don't get to see it. I deleted the message. Texted Jessica instead. Liam said, "Want mama today?" She replied immediately, "Oh my God, I'm crying. That's amazing." Some victories don't need everyone's witness. Late May. Sophie's bedtime. 3 months post-surgery. Scar healed. Healthy. Happy. She asked, "Are Grandma and Grandpa ever coming back?" "I don't know. Do you want them to?" I paused. Honest answer. I want them to be different than they are. Since they're not, no. Are you sad? Sometimes. Not as often as I thought I'd be. I'm not sad. They made you sad a lot before. You noticed that? Yeah. You cry way less now. You smile more. Especially when Liam does something cool. I hugged her. You're very observant. I'm 11. I notice everything. I tucked Sophie in, crossed the hall to Liam's room. He was sleeping, hands curled under his chin, weighted blanket snug, room decorated with artwork from therapy. Colors, shapes, progress. Nightlight casting soft glow. Peace. I thought, this is worth protecting. They are worth protecting. Even from family. Especially from family. I poured tea, opened my laptop. Document titled, Monroe_family_case_closed.docs. Sat there. I didn't write anything. Didn't need to. The story had already told itself. Through bank statements, through recordings, through healed children, through peaceful home. I closed the laptop. Looked at the framed photo on my desk. Sophie and Liam at the beach. Both smiling. Real smiles. Free smiles. I didn't burn bridges. I stopped building them alone. I didn't get revenge. I got free. And my children got a mother who finally chose them first. That's not a tragedy. That's a victory. People ask me sometimes. Other lawyers, clients, friends who know the story. If I ever think about reaching out. If I ever wonder what would have happened if I'd given them another chance, the answer is no. Because I didn't need another chance to know who they were. I had 9 years of evidence, 108 monthly payments. 83 events they attended for Victoria's children versus 9 for mine, 12 emergency requests denied, and 1 phone call where they called my 6-year-old son a broken, screaming burden while his sister was in surgery. That's not a pattern. That's a statement. And I finally listened. Not to their words, to their actions. My daughter doesn't ask about them anymore. My son is learning to speak. And I sleep better than I have in a decade. I spent 12 years helping other women set boundaries with toxic families, teaching them that blood doesn't obligate you to fund your own mistreatment. That love without respect isn't love. That you can't negotiate with people who see you as a resource instead of a person. I just never thought I'd need to practice what I preached. Until I did. And when I finally did, everything changed. Not all at once. Not dramatically. Quietly. The way real change happens. One canceled payment at a time. One documented conversation. One boundary set and held. One child who noticed her mother cries less now. One child who spoke for the first time because his mother finally had the resources to help him find his voice. That's the story. Not a revenge story. A liberation story. And if you're reading this, if you're living some version of this story yourself, here's what I want you to know. You don't owe anyone your peace. You don't owe anyone your money. You don't owe anyone access to your children, not even family. Especially not family who won't show up when it matters. Document everything. Trust the pattern. And when you're ready, stop building bridges alone. The people who love you will meet you in the middle. The people who don't will blame you for the gap. Let them. You'll be too busy building something better to care. I know I am.